In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brake hose on your Acura MDX, located behind the rear wheel. Let's get started. We're going to apply some pressure on the brake pedal using a prop. This is going to allow us to remove the hose and not lose pressure or not lose a lot of fluid.
We're going to remove the tire using a 19mm socket. Remove the tire.
We're going to be removing the knot from the hose, and for that I'm going to be using a 10mm line wrench. Before I do anything, I want to apply some rust penetrant right on the treads. That's going to help coming off. And now we're going to loosen this up. To keep in mind, when you do this, you want to make sure that the line is not rotating with the knot. That will cause some damage and cause leaks. Break it loose, work it out. Sometimes you want to go back and spray a little bit more penetrant just to make sure that the threads come out fine. And keep going back and forth until you feel like it's loose enough. Back it up a couple turns. Now that we know that the nut is loose from the line and from the hose, we are going to be removing this clip that holds both in place. For that, I'm going to be using a flathead screwdriver. You're going to wedge it in between and pry it out. Make sure when you do this, you kind of put a hand over it so it doesn't shoot at your face. Slide it out. Now we're going to take the knot completely out. Before we do that, we're going to make sure we have an oil pan to pick up the brake fluid that will leak from this line. So now we can take the line completely off. Slide the line out and move your hose away from the bracket. Using a 12mm socket, we're going to be removing the bolt that holds the hose to the bracket. Take it off and move your hose away. Now we're going to be removing the hose from the caliper, and for that we're going to be using a 14mm socket. You want to loosen the bolt or the banjo bolt. Remove the bolt. Take the hose off. When you remove this, you want to make sure that both of the crush washers come out with it. There will be one on either side of the banjo bolt. It should look something like this. One here and one on this side. Make sure that those come off because we don't want to double gasket them. Remove your hose. We're going to be reusing the banjo bolt, but we want to make sure that the old washers are off, like I mentioned previously. For this, we're going to install one of the new washers on one side. You want to slide the banjo bolt onto the hose and install the other washer. It should look something like this. Now that you're ready, you want to make sure that you slide the hose between the two notches on the caliper and start the bolt by hand. Now that we have the banjo bolt all the way in, we want to torque it to 26 foot-pounds. Now we're ready to reinstall the hose onto the bracket. To do that, we're going to align the hole and reinstall the 12mm bolt. start the bolt by hand. And now snug it up. Now we're ready to reinstall the hose onto the line. Align the hose, slide it in, and we want to make sure we start this by hand because we want to make sure we don't cross thread these. And now we can tighten it with the wrench. Just make sure you get it snug. Once you get it snug, we're gonna reinstall the clip. Simply align the clip and push it in. One thing you can do, you can use a mallet and you wanna tap it until it clicks in place. And lock it in. Now that we have the clip in place, we just wanna make sure that we snug this all the way. Using some brake parts cleaner, we're just gonna clean this area, spray some, and wipe it off. And now we can take our rod off. Now we want to make sure that we loosen the bleeder. If you have a cap, you will remove that now. In this case, ours doesn't have it. Simply using a 10mm wrench, we're going to loosen it. And we're going to allow that to gravity bleed to make sure that there's no air in the system. So what we're looking for by loosening the bleeder is for a steady stream with no bubbles. In our case, this looks pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten it back up. Get it snug. And we're gonna go ahead and clean the residue off. Using some brake parts cleaner, I'm gonna be spraying on it and then wiping it off. Grab yourself a rag. Wipe it off. If you have a rubber cap for this, make sure you reinstall it now. Our vehicle doesn't have it, so we won't be putting that on. Now is the time to get in the vehicle and pump the brakes. If the pedal feels soft, you will need to do a full brake bleed procedure.
Now we can install the tire back on and start your lug nuts by hand. Snug the lug nuts. Here we're gonna torque down our wheel to 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern. And you're all set.
We're gonna start by locating the master cylinder. It's located on the right front of the vehicle, under the hood. Before we open the cap, I like to clean around it because we don't wanna get any debris in our braking system. So grab some brake parts cleaner, just spray some around it, wipe off the cap. And like I said, this is just so we don't get any debris inside our system. Now we're ready to remove the cap. And one thing I want to point out is that this takes DOT3 or DOT4. In this case, we're going to be putting DOT4. That's what we have. So next we're just going to be removing the filter. Simply grab it, put it to the side, and using a fluid extractor, we're going to suck as much as we can out of the master cylinder. So get it in there and pump it. Like I mentioned, we just want to get as much as possible. Move it around, and sometimes you can get more of that. And now we can fill the reservoir. Now we can reinstall the filter and put the cap on. Now we're gonna move on to the left front of the vehicle. We're gonna bleed that side. Then we're gonna do the right front of the vehicle. We're gonna come back here, we're gonna top it off. And then we're gonna move on to the right rear. After that, we're gonna do the left rear. And we're gonna top it off one last time. Now I'm gonna install the bleeder bottle onto the bleeder. If you don't have a bleeder bottle, just put a pen underneath to catch the brake fluid. Right now I have someone in the car that's gonna pump the vehicle 3 to 5 times, and then I'm gonna use a 10mm wrench to open the bleeder. So while he's holding, you're gonna open the bleeder, and then you're gonna close it. What you're looking for is a steady stream and no air. You're gonna repeat the process until you get that. You wanna go ahead and pump? This looks good, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. You're gonna make sure the bleeder is closed and remove the line. Using some brake parts cleaner, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the bleeder, spray some on a rag, and wipe it off. Next, we're gonna do the right front of the vehicle. And after that's done, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna top off our master cylinder. After bleeding the right front wheel, we're gonna top off our reservoir. We're gonna remove the cap. We're gonna remove the filter. And just top it off. We're gonna reinstall the filter and the cap. Now we're ready to head over to the right rear tire. Bleed that, then we're gonna move on to the left rear, and we're gonna top it off one last time. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the right rear of the vehicle. In this case, we do have the cap. You can use the same 10mm wrench to remove it. We're gonna go ahead and install our bleeder bottle. And we're gonna repeat the process. All right, go ahead and pump it, please. Go ahead and pump, please. So we're looking for a steady stream and no air. In our case, this looks good, so we can go ahead and remove our bleeder bottle. We're gonna go ahead and spray some brake parts cleaner around the area, wipe it off, and reinstall our cap. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the left rear of the vehicle and repeat the process. And then after that, we're gonna come up to the master cylinder for one final top off. After we bleed the left front tire, we're ready to top off the reservoir. Get it to the max line. Install your filter and your cap. Now you're ready to throw all 4 wheels on. We're gonna be torquing them to 80 foot-pounds. After you do that, get in the vehicle, feel the pedal. If you still feel soft, you're gonna have to repeat the process.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.